Hello, family and friends. It is week 6 of my road to Busselton journey, and I am recording the weeks as we approach race day, which is in the first Sunday in December. That's Ironman Busselton, full distance race. So I'm doing this to not only, like I said, have a record, but also for people and myself to hold myself accountable. So if you have comments and you're following this, please feel free to share or questions. So I have a set list, so let's get into it. As mentioned, this is week 6 and this is build week 2. Now, what has affected the last 2 weeks, as you may know, is a big work project, which fortunately this weekend finished. So no longer in that location. All members in the project are home now. So that's been very helpful. So how am I feeling? 8 out of 10. Now, my training distances for the week is swim 6K. Now, quite under what we normally would be around, sort of minimum 9, but there's a reason for that. My bike distance cycling is 194. As mentioned, we were on location, so there was no commuting. 194 strictly training kilometres. And the run is just over a marathon, just 42 and a half. So my weight this week, as usual, fluctuating between 80 and 84, but I would say more so 82 this week. Things I learnt from the training. Well, remembering that this is week 2 or the end of week 2 of the project, which required significantly long hours than normal hours and other weird shifts and jobs that came in that had to be done. So what that led to was a second week of reduced recovery opportunities. And in particular, there was more reduced opportunities than the first week. So of course you've got some compound interest happening there with reduced opportunities to recover. So what I learnt from it, for I guess more of the situation rather than the training, is that when you are in this type of situation, look for the recovery opportunities and definitely don't waste them. Use every single one because they will count and add up. Injuries and niggles. So no injuries. The niggle is still there, being my left ankle Achilles tendonitis. So that's been troubling probably for the last 2 to 3 weeks, just rearing its head to say I'm not going away and it's here. So as mentioned, I've actually this week engaged in a number of opportunities to counter that. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to do another one after this video as well. Achievements and failures. Fail, was my bike trainer. Now, coming back to what I said earlier, there was a bike trainer. What I said earlier was I had reduced recovery opportunities, which led to more fatigue in the body. So this is this 12-hour shifts and other extra things that were going on. So in that bike trainer session, I was unable to hit my higher numbers more consistently, and even the lower numbers, which weren't that low, but lower numbers. So what it was 3 minutes at moderate intensity for the warm-up, 3 minutes, and then 1 minute moderate high, then 1 minute moderate low, then repeat 15 times. It was very much a interval session, and I was unable to consistently hold the numbers required for the entirety of the session. So that's a fail. Good effort, but it's a fail. Now, due to a session where I had to come in and it was like, I think start around 8:30 and then finish around 2 o'clock. No problems, that's easy. There's recovery after that. And I was going to do my swim. However, it didn't finish at 2, it finished at 6. Now, while the pool I was going to go to would have been open till 7:30, the next day would have been Saturday morning, and that's the big ride that I mentioned from last week. So I skipped that session. Good decision, but that's a fail, missing that. And that's why the kilometres in swimming were 6 instead of 9 and change. Okay, so achievement and fail. I'll let you decide. My achievement was the 5-hour ride. Now, I did that in varied terrain, so there was some good elevation in it, and there was some rollers in it. So that was quite challenging. I haven't ridden for that type of duration in a number of years, so the body, definitely during the last 90 minutes, it did not like me. And in particular, my left sciatic nerve did not like me in the last 60 minutes, and also my left side trap, so right here, was being very angry at me as well. Good performance, but that's an achievement, but the failure is that I didn't do the 2-hour run after that. That was part of the session. It's 2 hours easy, and I chose not to do it. I was probably overwhelmed by the difficult ride, and particularly the last 90 minutes. So what I chose to do was to finish the session, and of course do the rest of the day, have lunch, sleep, recover, and I did that 2-hour run later, which that was a good performance for, but that's probably the fail side, that I didn't run off the bike, which was in the program. Equipment and maintenance, nothing in this category. Really, it was probably more preparing the bike for that big ride, including my nutrition and hydration, which I did well, didn't forget anything, and also just to add that I fueled it well. So the training week ahead. Now this is a bike focused week. It's week 3 of the build. So as I look through the week, Friday morning is a 90-minute ride, which has challenging intervals in it. And of course, this is before Saturday's session, which will be a 5.5-hour ride. So I've got a few ideas about some strength work that I'm going to try and do Monday, Tuesday, and Friday to try and prepare my back, so that hopefully those 2 areas I was talking about aren't as angry. Now that's a flat ride, so it should be a different ride and more manageable than an elevation ride, but different because there's no down slopes, so you're on the pedals all the time. But I'm thinking that'll be more challengeable. So commuting will be back, so I'm just going to manage that. There'll be an adaptation process I'm going to have to go through again, but just take it easy and enjoy those rides. There should also be more recovery opportunities and better quality recovery opportunities, so I'm certainly look to see that this is a good recovery and build week, and I really want to do that 5.5 hours ride well, and there's an hour run off that bike, so that'll be good. Looking forward to doing that well, I hope. And I guess to finish off, I'm racing a standard distance local race in 2 Sundays' time. So when I do that video, I'll be able to talk about how the race went. So hopefully this is helpful. And like I said, if you have comments or questions, post them. And if you want to look at my Garmin data, send me a request, and I'm happy to include you. All the best, and talk to you next week.